Hi Stampers, it's Judy Anderson from judystamps.com. Today I'm bringing you the Floating Reinker Technique. For this project, you'll need the Blended Bloom stamp set. This is the card that we're doing. I changed it up just a little bit for you though today. And then you will need the Pool Party stamp pad, a piece of 8.5 by 5.5 Pool Party cardstock for your card base, some Whisper white cardstock measuring 4 by 2 3/4, and then another scrap, and then some shimmery white cardstock. You'll need the mosaic, the Modern Mosaic embossing folder, an aqua painter, our Stampin' Spritzer. These are wonderful, you guys, for any misting that you may do. They come in a pack of 2 and only $2.95. You'll find both the aqua painter and the Stampin' Spritzer on page 210 of the annual catalog. And then the 2 reinker colors that I chose for today are the Pool Party and the Island Indigo, and they're in our weekly deals, you guys. They're only $2.10 each. Get them while they're still on sale. That ends on Tuesday. And then for the embossing part, you'll need your embossing buddy, a Versamark pad, and your Pool Party embossing powder. I like the effect it gave on this sample. Now I did do, because I want to concentrate on the technique, I did some of the parts of the card already for you. I already stamped and embossed this with the, I'm sorry, wrong piece of cardstock. I already stamped and embossed with the shimmery white cardstock. Let me see if I can adjust my light a little bit. It's a little bit too bright. There you go. And so you have your embossed outline, and that's what we're going to be doing the technique on. You'll also need some type of a non-porous surface to put your reinkers in, and I chose just one of the tops to our buttons or brads or something, so I just took that. So what you're going to need to do is just put a good drop of your Pool Party reinker in there, and then separate it in just a smaller, I didn't use as much as the Island Indigo as I did the Pool Party because that's my darker. If you need more, you can always do more. Okay, so we've got our dot of Pool Party and Island Indigo. I'll put a little bit more Pool Party here. You'll notice that you're not going to need much. You can take your Stampin' Spritzer and you want to spritz your image. You want to get it good and wet because the wetter it is, the more your ink will flow, but you don't want to do way too much. Now your aqua painter tip does not need to have water in it because you've got the water on your cardstock here. And all I'm going to do is pick up a little bit of ink here and just drop it and see how it spreads. Isn't that so exciting? This is what gives me the effect that it's kind of like a tie-dye effect also. I just love it. It gives you the effect of watercoloring and kind of tie-dye without having to worry about doing your coloring. Sorry. You know, I have a tendency of stop talking when I'm working. Kind of like walking and chewing gum. Okay, we're just going to let that spread out. I'm actually do want a little bit more ink. I'll put another drop there because I want a little bit more of the ink on the flower. There we go. Oops, it's starting to absorb in. See, you can tell when it starts absorbing. If that happens, just take your spritzer and spritz it again. It'll help it bleed out. Oh, how gross, bleed out. That sounds a medical term. And I'm just going to continue dotting it a little bit to give it a little bit more color. Okay, now I'm going to go right into my Island Indigo ink and just where I want a little bit of darker color, just dot it. And it doesn't really matter, once again, no rhyme or reason. Just kind of dot it. These colors are very similar, so I like using similar colors, although you could use like a yellow and like Melon Mambo, because where they combined it would make like an orange color. And why I like using the aqua painter, if I find I need a little bit more water someplace, I can just add some water just by squeezing the bottle a little bit. And each of your images, no matter how many you do in a row, will come out a little bit different. And just keep adding until you get the coloration that you want. Now right now it looks like it's just dotted, but when it dries it just seems to continue to bleed a little bit, and they blend great. Now I'm going to dry this surface off a little bit here with my rag and go on to the next step. You have your piece of Whisper White cardstock and your Pool Party ink pad, and you're going to take your stamped image or your stamp and stamp it. Now I paid attention to the way I stamped it on to the the shimmery white cardstock, and this pointed little petal up here was at the top. So I want to stamp this one so that the bottom half, this lower half, is to the top. And it really doesn't matter exactly, you know, which side you go from, because you can flip your paper over because it's not attached. And I'm just going to go about halfway and stamp that down, and I forgot to put paper mat underneath, so I'm going to have to wipe my surface off or else I'll end up with an armful of ink. What did I do with my paper towel here? Oh, I lost it. Wouldn't you know? Okay, next best thing is my Stampin' Apron. Good thing it's black. It doesn't show all these stains, huh? Okay, so I've got some of the parts of the card done for you already. I scored my piece of Pool Party cardstock in half to create it at 4 1/4. I went ahead and used my Modern Mosaic embossing folder and embossed the front. I'm going to take the stamped piece of Whisper White cardstock and apply it to the bottom of the card very carefully. The lace doily, paper doily, which I forgot I left out in the beginning on supplies you need, but you need to cut it in half. Put some tape on there. I lightly attach it to here so that it goes just under the edge there. Okay, like I said, I have some of the pieces done already. I went ahead and did this flower ahead of time and cut it out. I don't want to cut this one out because it is still wet. See the water still on it? I could use my heat tool to dry it, but that has a tendency of moving the ink a little bit, and I just like them to do whatever they want to do themselves. And it'll have a tendency of tearing if you try cutting your cardstock when it's wet. So this one's done ahead of time. I cut it, put some tape on the back. Now you want to line this up. I'm going to move this sideways so you can see. You want to move this up. Pay attention to your petals and how they're formed, and just line up all those lines so it makes a complete flower. Now it may not be within the half round of the doily. That's fine. Okay, I'm going to move that doily down just a tad. Well, I think I'll have better luck moving this one up just a tad. Because I don't want those edges of the doily peeking out from underneath the cardstock. Now in my sample, I also put a piece of Island Indigo, a strip, and what I did is I put it over the top like this. On this one, I think I'm going to leave it off and see what it looks like. You're also going to stamp onto another piece of Whisper White cardstock, or the shimmery white cardstock, and I emboss the center and cut it out. And then what I'm going to do with this one is I'm just going to spritz it just like that. Move my card, and then just with the Island Indigo, I just want a little bit around the edges, so I'm just going to go around the edge, just dotting the edge of the center in those dots, and it will spread a little bit, but there's smaller spaces so it won't spread as much. And then go along the edge of the cardstock. And the reason why I spritzed it is so it blends a little bit. I didn't want a harsh line around the edge. And as you can see, it's quite a bit lighter when it spreads out a little bit. It almost looks like the pool party, but you will definitely get some dimension. I'm going to add a little bit more to the center. Okay, then once that's dried, you're going to go ahead and set that onto the center. I want to stamp wet surface. Not good with paper. So again, take my apron. Thank heavens for my apron, guys, you know. And then I'm going to take a thank you. And with my pool party ink once again, kind of keeping it monochromatic, stamp that in the center. Ooh, a little bit too much ink there, but that's okay. I must have gotten a little bit of water on here. And you know what? I am going to add that strip on. I don't like it without that strip, which I just lost. So before I tape that down, that's why I didn't tape that one down. Go ahead and put some snail on this Island Indigo. And that's going to go from card edge to card edge. This should be dry enough to put some snail on it now. And just line that up. Just like that. And then there you have your card. So there's two different looks there. One without embossing the back, and then one with embossing. Now, I'd love to see some of your samples using the Reinker Resist. And don't forget, we have 5 Reinkers on sale this week in our weekly deals. Until next time, happy stamping.